The Jets' 2022 NFL schedule has been leaked by Brian Cause of the New York Post. Let's talk about it.
No huddle, Wilson end zone, caught, touchdown, Elijah Moore.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and before we hop into the schedule, just wanted to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join the Jets family and the Jets Nation and the growing YouTube scene for the New York Jets. Hit that like button. It really helps us beat out the YouTube algorithm and get these videos out there to more Jets fans. And let's just hop right into it. So Brian Cause of the New York Post leaked the Jets 2022 NFL schedule, all 18 weeks, and we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. The schedule should be right up here so you guys can follow along. I just want to talk about the games, what I think about the follow-up of the games, and let's just go about it. So we start off the schedule with just a rough go about it. It's not easy in any shape or form or anything like that. We really just start with a gauntlet by the NFL just giving us the entire AFC North just right off the rip, which I think is strange scheduling. But if I was going to face any of the divisions or whatever, I'd rather have faced the AFC North early, I guess. And that's just because I think that there's a lot of what's going to happen in the AFC North is going to be a lot of the turnover. There's a lot of big, new, important pieces. So let's start it with week 1. We're versing the Ravens at home for our home opener at 1 o'clock. This is a good game for us. The Ravens have a lot of turnover on their roster. There's a lot of new pieces and new players and a new offensive line, and they lost, wide receiving pieces, and they're really, really banking on Bateman being really good, and, there's a lot of just turnover on that roster, and I'd much rather face the Ravens early where they're still working off the dust or the rust or the whatever you want to talk about it on that roster. We saw last year that the Ravens weren't this untouchable juggernaut of a team. They can absolutely be beaten, and I think we can beat them. I think it's very realistic that we come out of week 1 with a W at MetLife. Week 2, we travel to Cleveland to face the Browns. Now, the thing with the Browns is the Browns are a really good team. They're a really good lineup. They're a really good roster. They have some really, really nice and really, really good and important players on that team. But there are 2 things that are going for us when it comes to this with this schedule. First things first is we have no idea what's going on with the Deshaun Watson suspension that's going to happen, right? We don't know if he's going to be suspended, if he's not going to be suspended, or anything like that. Let's talk about either scenario, if he's suspended or not suspended. If he is suspended, then we're going to see what their backup quarterback is. You'd assume that it's not going to be Baker Mayfield and that Baker's not going to play in that game. If I was Baker, I wouldn't. So you have that situation of facing the Browns with their backup quarterback is going to be good for the Jets. The other side of that coin, which still might be good for the Jets, is that the Browns early with Watson hasn't played football in over a year. So how much rust is still on there? How is he still acclimating to a new scheme and a new offense and new players? Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback in the NFL, and he's one of the better ones in the league, but he's not a unstoppable force that can't be beat. And so week 2, while it will be a hard matchup because Myles Garrett, and they've got a lot of really good pieces there, they're not unbeatable. We definitely can beat the Browns, especially early on. And I like the fact that we're facing a lot of these really strong teams early in the season. So week 2 at Browns. Week 3 at the Bengals. Let's just be honest here. We beat the Bengals last year with Mike White. That was the Canton game. Put Mike White in the Hall of Fame. And we historically, as the New York Jets, play the Bengals incredibly well. And I expect that trend to keep going. Nothing against Mike White. I like Mike White, and I hope that he's our backup for a long time. But Zach Wilson is better than Mike White. And if Zach Wilson takes that step forward that we all imagine that he is, and with the weapons that we have, I think we can go toe-to-toe with the Bengals. And I'm curious to see it. And you get to see the revenge game for a lot of the guys that are going to be on the team. Carl Lawson, this is going to be his first game against the Bengals, which would have been last year, but he got hurt. CJ Uzama is going to be playing against the Bengals again. Assuming we get Ogunjobi, he's going to be playing against the Bengals again. So, again, a lot of big pieces here, and you got to take into consideration that offensive line for the Bengals wasn't great last year. They put a lot of pieces there, and they're new pieces on the offensive line, so the entire right side of that offensive line is brand new. We know how long it took the Jets' offensive line to get gelled, and our defensive line is lethal now. So we got that going for us. Week 4 at Steelers, I think this is a great matchup for the Jets. We don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be by week 4. If Mitch Trubisky comes in and poops the bed, we might have rookie Kenny Pickett starting, and there's a lot of things and a lot of conversations that are going to be had about the Steelers going into week 4. Week 5 versus the Dolphins. There's not much to say there. They're the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are incredibly beatable this year. I think we should easily be able to win this game. Moving on, week 6 against the Packers. I like this too because it's early in the season. Packers are still going to be trying to figure out that passing game and all of that stuff. It's an entire new wide receiving core in Green Bay, so we got to see how that is. And week 6 is just late enough to where they're still trying to figure things out, and that offense is still trying to gel. Week 7 at Mile High, that's rough. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to mark that as a loss for the Jets. I think that's the only game here that, like that and one of the Bills games where I'm going to say guaranteed we're going to lose one of those. And the only reason I say that is because playing in Denver is difficult. It's not easy. And Denver has gotten much, much better this year with Russell Wilson. And I know that we've gotten better, but it's mainly about just traveling to Denver, playing at Mile High. The air is thinner. It's hard to play in Denver. And so I'm going to just put that there. The Patriots, week 8, I think that's, again, a very beatable team. There's going to be a lot of tape on Mac Jones by that point. And I would have much rather have played the Patriots week 1 because I would have loved that 9-11 game with the Patriots. But week 8, we move on from there. Week 9, we play the Bills before we go into the bye. The Bills are a really, really rough team, and by this point in time, we should see what the Bills are without Brian Daboll, and I'm really curious to see what that is. This is a game that's definitely going to be marked on my calendar as a must watch for not just like Jets fans, but I think everybody, because not just week 8, but like week 9 against the Jets, but week 8 and 9 for the Bills. That's where we're going to see the Bills really develop their identity without Brian Daboll, and I'm really curious to see what that is. Then we go into week 10 with the bye. I love this. I think that in my ideal world, the bye should be anywhere from week 9 to week 11. That's right smack dab in the middle of the season, and that gives us our players. We go through a massive sprint. We relax. We go through one last sprint, and we're in the playoffs, hopefully. I never liked in previous years where the Jets would get the early buys in like week 7 or week 6, because then you just have a gauntlet on the back half of the season. So there's that. Come out of the bye and we face New England again, this time at Gillette. And again, it's another good game. I'm excited to see. I want to see both of the Patriots games this year because it's very interesting what the Jets are going to do because, again, I think we're really good. And then we go week 12 versus the Bears. We should win that. Week 13 versus the Vikings. That'll be a fun and interesting game. Week 14 against the Bills. I would pencil this as the loss that we go with the Bills. I have a splitting with the Bills. And so week 14 is probably the loss that I say that we have. Week 15 against the Lions, we should be able to win. Week 16, Thursday Night Football against the Jags, we should be able to win. Week 17 versus the Seahawks, we should be able to win. And Week 18 at the Dolphins, we should be able to win as well. So, again, a really good schedule. The one thing that I will say is that our schedule is very front-heavy. The first 9 weeks before the bye is a gauntlet. The AFC North, the Packers, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Bills. Like, we don't really get a break in that first 9 weeks at all. They're games that are going to be hard to win. They're games that are going to be very, very difficult. But I look at this schedule and I say, the Jets should be in on most of these games, and if we walk away, I think we have to, at minimum, worst case scenario, walk away in the first 9 weeks 3-6. I look at this first 9 weeks and I look at it and I go, we can be 5-4. And then week 11 to week 18 is where we make up the lost time. We should beat the Bears, the Lions, the Jags, and the Seahawks. So all we need to do is take a game from our division, one of our division rivals, and the Vikings, and then we can have a really, really solid year. Again, I'm really excited to see this schedule. I think the schedule plays out relatively well for the Jets and how we go about it. I'm not a fan of all of the 1 o'clock games. I wish we had more 4 o'clock games and things like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the schedule and anything like that. And last but not least, go Jets.